Good day, everybody. Welcome to episode 9 of the Stream of Card Consciousness. There's my partner, Greg Smith. How you doing today, Greg?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. How you doing today, Mark?
I'm doing good. It's been a morning. So today we're a little bit more on track with the cards and structure of the show. So today we're going to show and talk a little bit about our two favorite baseball card sets of all time. So we're keeping it to a minimum, and we both picked out our favorite two sets of all time, and neither of us have discussed, what our favorites are. So it's liable to be the same. And then also we're going to do our cards of the week, our favorite cards we picked up this week. And I'll lead with my cards of the week, and then Greg will do his cards of the week and into his favorite sets of all time. So I had a morning today. I'm out hunting cards, and I go to this flea market in Auburndale, a little flea market, middle of nowhere. You know how it is around here in Florida, and it was unbelievable. It's like the people wandering around like the Walking Dead, and it's a pretty big flea market. You think you'd find some baseball cards, and so I get there and I'm going through this flea market, and the flea market smells, and the people, and everybody's got their fake service dogs, and it's just quite the scene. I'm sure you've been to Auburndale, haven't you, Greg?
Oh yeah. So Tracy McGrady's from. Do you know that?
What's that?
Tracy McGrady, Magic
Yeah.
player.
Oh yeah. Right on. And then right down the road, Kathleen is Ray Smith.
Yeah.
So
Ray Lewis.
Oh, Ray Smith. Yeah. Kathleen High School. Yeah, Ray Lewis. Yep. So I start itching, like I'm breaking out. I'm like, it's just the flea market environment, and I'm not finding any cards. And then I finally, the very last possible far corner of the flea market, two ladies put in a card store, and it's all brand new, and they didn't have a lot of vintage. But it was worth it after struggling through flea market traffic. And I'm like, oh my God, man, I'm gonna die. I can't handle this. And it was an atrocity. And but so I got a couple cards there. These are a few of my favorite cards of the week. Now, I don't know what the hell's gotten into me lately, Greg, but every time I see this darn card, the chicken, I mean, I got to get it. So, right, I suffered through this flea market, the sights, the sounds, the smells, the Walking Dead, wading through all the bongs and the drug paraphernalia and the samurai swords and all that stuff and the stun guns. And so I got that in that shop. And then this was really cool.
Don't call it a bong. They'll kick you out. For real.
It's a pipe, right?
Water pipe.
Water pipe. Yes. And no, I don't want one. Thank you very much.
Right.
So, this is cool.
That is not actually the chicken's rookie. Did you know that?
83 Donruss?
No, 80. That's 83. You got the second year chicken.
Yeah, I got dude. I have like 10 chickens. I'm sure. I'm one of them's got to be the rookie. So, right. And actually, I'm going to send one to Giannolis, the chicken, to get autographed. I'm going to send two, one for Greg, one for myself, because that's kind of a piece of America. So then the other one is I got this numbered Chipper Jones Topps Archives in it's 50 of 50.
Nice.
Yeah, so he's kind of the local guy here, but yeah, look at that's nice. I got that for $5 in the shop. Really? I was like, say what? 50 of 50. So that was pretty cool. I'm not a big modern guy, but that was one. Then I got this 72 Willie Mays from Richard Kavorka this week. That's a beauty. I'm really happy with that. It's got some dirt or something on the back of it, but that's a perfect candidate for a one touch. I'm really happy to get that from him. Then Folly of Man, I'll wrap it up. I don't want to take too long with my cards of the week. Folly of Man, solid 5.5. DSG Boggs rookie card. I got that for like $6. And I got that off eBay, but I showed it to Greg when I don't know, again, people buy the card, not the grade. It looks like an 8. I don't know. I can't tell what's wrong with this, but it's beautiful. I love it. I love the Folly of Man cards. I can't help myself. So those are my cards of the week.
Well, that's that. You can't go wrong with any Boggs rookie, really. I don't think. I mean, card, it doesn't matter, but. So we were talking last night. You're telling me about some of the. I'm not going to name the place, but some of the auctions you were getting. Some of those. What did you get?
Well, they're going to be in a sale today, so I got them out in the other room. broke it up with the round one, that first round that I won in and dominated the great state of Ohio. I'll only give that tidbit, and that'll be today. And
Okay,
then
cool.
when the others, that'll be the next round. Just trying to space it out a little bit. That way, I got something to do, and being how
Right.
busy that I am, I can't run a 300-400 card auction, and I'll end up smacking my head off the table. Especially the way my last set went, dragging out for a week with people and whatnot. So I'm just
Yeah.
trying to keep it tight, lean and mean. But there will be some of those cards today. That
Cool.
Merlin Olsen, the Lou Brock, a couple of the other ones that I got.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I've got a few myself that I got, and I think it's funny. You're talking about the flea market. It sounds like it actually had fleas.
Oh, I think I did. Yeah.
That's no good. So, but yeah. So I mean, I've got a few. Some pretty cool ones. Some Sparky Lyle rookie card. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And he was Red Sox guy, and he actually, I believe, he won the Cy Young in '77 as a reliever.
Mm-hmm.
But just a nice rookie card, 69. It's not in the high number series, but still, it's a Sparky Lyle rookie card. And then I also got this as part. It's pretty beat up, but part of a lot that I bought. You got a 1972 Wilt Chamberlain.
Oh, that's a new
that's
one
kind of
to
a
me.
cool card.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So, yeah, I got that. We got it reasonably priced. And then John Gortson's a guy that is in our group, and he's a big Clemente guy. So he sent me this card, and I put it in our group. I'd never actually seen that card before for some reason. The Manager's Dream '68 version with Clemente and Oliva and Chico Cardenas, who apparently was not too bad in his own right. Couple more. I've got this one, pretty reasonably priced. Got a Bomber's Best. It's not my first copy of that, but it's anytime I see this card and I can get it at a decent price, I'm going to get it because it's got Mantle and Bobby Richardson and Tom Tresh, some Yankees icons really. And then the last one, this is my favorite pickup of the week, and it came through the help of Richard. You got the 1963 Cardi Yastrzemski 4.5. So that I'm kind of on a Yaz slab kick, and that helps me. I've got a rookie, and I've got this one, and I've got a 75 that's a PSA or an SGC 7. So those are my four really for the week,
Awesome.
or my five. And just PC items and things that I really enjoy, and I've had a good time. Always on the lookout for some nice stuff to add to the collection. So those are mine. And Josh Wickersham helped me get that Bomber's Best card. It was in a sale. Somebody that is on the site that I can't see anymore for some reason. He got it for me. Yeah.
Me
you
neither.
do the math. Huh?
Yeah. Me either.
Yeah. You do the math there, but it was a good price, and he messaged me and said, "Do you want me to get it for you?" So he did, and I was pretty happy about that. So those are my five for the week. We'll get into some of the better sets. I kind of took a little while to really kind of rack my brain and kind of figure out what direction I wanted to go with the favorite baseball sets of all time. And I've really kind of more gravitated towards vintage. True vintage, I think, more than the modern vintage. I guess there's two separate categories of vintage in my mind. You got 75 and older in my head, and then you've got basically like 75 to 85 or 76 to 85. So I decided to go down the vintage road with this. And I think my all-time favorite set really is 1961 Topps. You'll get different people with different opinions on that set. In my opinion, it's the third hardest high numbers to get in the 60s, behind 67 and 66. About 2 years ago, I had a run-in with somebody on a forum. Not a run-in, but I ran into somebody on a forum who was selling like 85% of that set for $300. And I had the Mantle, and I had a few of the other stars already. So I bought it, and ever since then, my first real foray into set collecting was the 61. And I've got now about 9 or 10 slabs, different brands, different grades. No real rhyme or reason to it, but that's my favorite all-time set. really for baseball. You can go to 80s and 83's up there, 85's up there, 80 is up there. But I think my all-time favorite, and it's grown on me more since I completed it, was 1961. So that's a Frank Robinson. Got this pretty cheap, so love this card.
Yeah, it's a great card.
And then my second favorite, and one I'm really kind of debating on whether or not I really want to ever really get into, because it can get a little pricey, is 1957. You got a 1957 Willie there, for a 2. I mean, again, by the card, not the grade. This looks like a 4 or 5 to me. So, good centering, decent centering. I can't really tell anything on the surface of the card a whole lot. It doesn't really look like there's anything wrong with it. The simplicity of this set, you put that with that tux, and it just looks amazing. The dark colors,
Right.
to go with the dark background on his pose. I just think that set looks just vintage to me, and it's really kind of a throwback. In the last time, it seemed like they were like super simple, and you can just really tell that it's a vintage set. So number 1 for me all time, really, if I think about it, is 61, and then number 2 is 57. So I'm not sure what direction you're going in with this, but that's where I'm at, and I kind of surprised myself a little bit too, I think, with my choices, but I really thought about it a lot this week, and that's what I came up with. So, high number series, I think in order for really a set to be really considered vintage, maybe 73 is the last one, just because of the high numbers, and I think a lot of people,
series, right?
Yeah, different series. And you really had to kind of fight and claw your way when you were collecting. From what I've heard anyway, I'm not old enough, but you had to really scratch and claw to find them back then. So, maybe that's where the line of demarcation with vintage is. But, so those are my 2. Not to be too long-winded, I've talked enough about it. So, yeah, what's your 2, Mark? What's
interesting? Just the difference before I get into my 2. I have a ton of vintage, even though I'm kind of more seems to be stuck in that latter stage 2 vintage with my sales and that, and it always surprises people when they message me and I and pull out some of the things that I have, and I never knew. But
Yeah.
I'm not there's individual cards through that era that I really like. I just for whatever reason, it just some of the 50s I really like, but I'm an oddity. Other than 1960 tops, I don't like any of the cards in the 60s. I'm just not a fan. We've talked about this before. I've told you. I just, for whatever reason, I just don't like them. And
Yeah.
individually, yeah, I'm a Hank Aaron guy. I'm going to grab any Hank Aaron I can see, or any players that we PC. But for whatever reason, after 60, they just don't really resonate with me. And,
Right.
that's why
why do you think that is? Just the designs, or
I don't. I guess coming out of the 50s, where things were dynamic and out of the painting era versus the photos, and then I just seem there's more richness in the 50s. 50s, I'm more into than the 60s, but I don't really have a lot of 60s cards other than like Hank Aaron, and it just and it doesn't really, I don't know, it doesn't resonate with me.
Sure.
I think I guess I wish there was maybe a little more broad expanse of the backgrounds, because again, it gets back to we collect what we like. I love the history, the setting, the place, the background. We had a good in our group on Facebook. We had a good conversation going about cards with different backgrounds and things like
that
that.
was great.
So I guess that lack of, no, I'll say like the 57 Charlie Neal. Love that card. I mean, that is amazing. It's got the backdrop of Ebbets Field, and you see all the signage, and so those are what I gravitate towards with the 50s and the 60s. If I see a card that has a great backdrop, it's got a lot of the stadium. I think the Rocky Calavito rookie, the 57, is similar to, has a nice broad expanse, and you really get the feel of it.
Mini Minoso is a cool one too.
Oh yeah, Mini's good.
Yeah.
So
the Mini's a good one. I agree with you. Actually, I've got that sitting right here. So I've got the Minoso right here, and you see
right. Yeah, see the backdrop, isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's just cool, and it looks old, and it's
Mm-hmm.
and I to expound on your point a little bit, it seems like after 56, Topps really went away from action shots at all. With the 56, you have the picture and then the action shot in the picture behind it. And you do bring up an interesting point that they did seem to just kind of go to a standard headshot basically until it seems like 1971 almost. There's really not a lot of action shots, and that could be part of the reason. I'm not speaking for you, but that could be part of the reason why you don't love it so much is because it's just standard poses.
Yeah, there's
The designs are
individual
one thing.
cards. Yeah, and you're more of a set guy than I am. I think I've said I got 87 Tops, 89 Fleer, and sadly 91 Fleer I got in a box of tonnage. So I'm not a set guy either. So that's probably part of it too. So
Yeah, it
I'm
might
more
be.
of an individual,
Sure.
buying the individual cards from that. So yeah, I'll get into my top two.
Well,
And
good,
it's
good, good points, Mark, about the 50s and the 60s. Though I'm glad because it's got me thinking a little bit too. So I appreciate you bringing that up.
Yeah, so this is a little bit out of left field, but then again, I'm kind of out of left field. So the my number two favorite of all time is a silly phone. My apologies. And this is not going to be a shock. I love 1990 tops. All right, it's not vintage. It's not going to burn the house down with money. It's not great investment, but for me, I say the United colors of 1990 tops, the borders, and I personally think that some of the best cards of these players, these stars of that era, are in 1990 tops. Griffey, I think, is the best card. The legend.
Yeah.
That's a Folly of Man 6 I just got. That to me is the best Ken Griffey card, and it's the border and the uniform and the color, and
The rookie
this
cup.
right. And this is another Folly of Man, Daryl Strawberry. But again, look how it just pops and the color and the border, and it's funny because this was like the zenith of my youthful collecting. After 1990, I didn't do much because
Me either.
life, right? Kids, jobs,
Yeah.
work, this, that, the other thing, running the golf course, blah blah blah. And then I got back into it, with COVID, like most people, and did get back into the hobby. But this was when I was in my so I had like if I saw another 1990 Topps card, I was just gonna like lose my mind after all that because I didn't honestly. I was like, they suck. And then when I got back into it and I pulled my cards out, and I was like, you know, these are really pretty cool. I love
Yeah.
the colors, and there's some really great shots. I wish I'd have brought it in here. I was scrambling around recovering from my flea market experience. But to me, the 90 Topps Kirby Puckett is his best card. That thing is beautiful. What's it
Yeah.
worth? 25 cents, but I love
Right.
it. I have like 10 of it. And whenever I see 1990 Topps, I can't help myself. When I'm surfing my tonnage, I see 1990 Topps and I'm all in. I'll take a
Right.
flyer, throw a dart at the dartboard, and sometimes I get 4,000 1990 Topps that are garbage. But once in a while you'll hit a box. But even the lesser players and the non-rookie cards of Frank Thomas and Larry Walker, second year Griffey, and that really has some fabulous, fabulous pictures. And to me, it's the color and the vibrancy of it all. And
Yeah.
it kind of takes me back to, being however heck old I was at that time, 20, 21 years old. And then
Sure.
life, it's kind of like a, a bookmark, I guess, for me. But
Well,
I love 1990 Topps, the United colors of 1990 Topps, because United colors of Benetton at that time.
oh
So
yeah.
they're crazy, they're wild, and
Well, and I really think Topps did a great job matching up the colors with the teams. Obviously that's a no brainer if you're in the design department, but they did a wonderful job. And I'm like you with the 90 Topps set. I didn't love it when it first came out. I was like, man, what is this? And you couple that with the 90 Donruss, and I'm like, man, what are these guys doing? But 90 Topps is probably in my top 10, no question, just because of the colors and the way it looks. So good choice, man.
It's unique. I think it's very unique from any of the cards, from Topps inception until now. I think it really stands out. And Topps now, they just rehash the same stuff every year. So I think it was really different. It was really different than anything else that was available at the time. So then my number one, and this is so funny. This is why me and Greg get along and do a show, because his last thought about the action shots and everything. So my number one favorite of all time is the 1971 Tops. And there's
Okay.
so many great action photos and backdrops. I mean, this is the infamous Ryan that I got. Look, I love that. I mean, that is just amazing. And I love the signage, the billboards, and there's just, photo upon photo upon photo upon photo in 1971 Tops. And the thing is even though they're very condition sensitive, and I'm very lucky to have this sharp of Orion. Even a beat up 71 Tops has character. It looks good. Like one of my favorite cards that I have is a 71 Gibson. And it's, pretty rough shape, well loved, but it looks great because, Gibson's stalking the mound and you got the crowd backdrop, and
Yep.
even beat up, it like adds to the card almost with the photo. It's like, yeah, this card's kind of gnarly, but there's Bob, stalking the mound. And
Right.
so I love it. And then the other thing too, when there's not the action shots, and then this is my Hank, look at the size of the photo and
Yeah.
the warmth of it, the color of it. The non-action cards are just, they're not pulled back. They're right there. It's like I'm standing right next to Hank. So this takes me back to, a story I told about hanging out with Hank Aaron when I was like 8 years old, and I can just remember me and Hank hanging out.
Yeah,
And
that's cool.
and then obviously, the Munson Folia Man 1.5, but I mean that is iconic, and
Yeah.
that's just an iconic card, and it's just really, really amazing. I
I've said
really
this
love.
before about that Munson, and you bring up a really good point about the character of the cards. In I've got a Munson myself that's not in a slab, and it's got chips on the side, and it almost seems like it fits with that card.
Right,
That
yeah,
card should be
dirty,
beat up because
the
he's down
dirt,
in the
and
dirt.
mhm.
Yeah,
So,
he's down in
so
the
that's the
dirt.
beauty of that, right? You'd probably pay, $5 maybe, I don't know, but
Right.
maybe 10 tops, and I ended up getting that graded by, working. I started at $7, sold a $7 Munson, $15 Munson, and I just wanted it in a slab, and I think that being in the that slab is just really makes that thing pop.
Yeah, it really
So,
does. That's about the only set you really can say that with, is that if you want them nice, but if you don't have them, it still kind of
yeah,
holds its character because of
definitely.
the just how rugged the set looks. That was my number three, actually. I debated putting 57 or 71, and that Ryan and that in 1980 Ryan, in my opinion, are the two best Ryans.
Yeah, the
I
E
think.
Ryan is fire.
Yeah, but I think the 71 probably gets it just because it's a vintage with the RC, in the background, and you can just tell that's an old photo, and it's
Mhm.
really, in my opinion, his best card aesthetically. So, that's super choice, man. That's a really great set. Um, tough to get in a good grade. So,
Definitely.
yeah, in good shape. But that's the beauty of collecting, is you don't always have to try to get it as nice as possible. And the
Yeah,
71's a good example of that. I've got some that have half the card chipped off, it seems like, and I still love them. So
but
great
that's where we're
choice,
both
man.
at. The similarity, and I would rather, again, if I got like $20 to spend, I'd rather be able to buy three cards for $20 than one card for 20. That's
Right.
kind of how I operate. So I try to get the best I can out of my money and maximize my dollars, because it is an expense, and it is just, as I say, it's just cardboard, and you don't want to be putting money down the drain on something. So yeah, that's how I
Right.
always try to do things, maximize my dollars at the Ohio site there. I go
Yeah.
in and know I have X amount of dollars, and that's it, man.
Yeah. That's exactly how I am too. Obviously for PC, I don't necessarily, we were talking about this last night as well. It doesn't, condition always doesn't make that much of a difference. Do I want it to look nice? Do I want it to be centered? Sure. But if it's something, I got that Wilt Chamberlain card. I've never had a Wilt Chamberlain card before,
That's
and it's
awesome.
beat up and it's got creases, but it doesn't matter. It's mine, and I got it, and it was a reasonable
Exactly.
price. And that's all that matters to me. And I think you and I are a lot alike in that. A lot of people, don't want it to be necessarily that way, and don't want it to they want it centered and they want it perfect, and I'm just not there. But I get both sides. So it's just not as much of a driver for me, I think, and for you as well. So, it's been fun, trying to just find things to buy to add to the collection. And I'm gonna have to maybe check out your Ohio thing, just to see.
Come on in. There's plenty of room there. That's we'll keep that between me and you. But you'll love it. It's you win some, you lose some, but you win big. That seems to be the way it is down there. It's just for whatever reason, people fight over certain cards, and then kind of leave some other things for us to get.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Do you have any shout outs this week, man?
No, not really. Just one kid in my room, Damian Camacho. He put his head down and, for 5 months, worked hard. He's graduated this week. I was proud of him. He refused any of Mr. Mark's special help, to get through things. No, I want to do it on my own. So that is pretty cool. And then card wise, been pretty quiet this week as far as buying. I got a sale today, but that's about it for me.
You running some today? What time are you starting, man?
Probably mid-afternoon.
Okay. I'm going out of town, so I've been kind of quiet on that front. I'm heading down your way here on Tuesday, and I've got like 4 people that I've bought stuff from that I say, hey man, do you mind holding shipping for a week? Because I don't want to just sitting here. So it's been kind of a quiet week too. I mean, obviously the usual suspects for me, Richard and Josh. I try to struggle, but and John Gortson, well, I'll tell you what, he gave me a line on some Clemente cards that I'd never seen. That one I showed you earlier, the manager's dream card. He sold me several cards at a price I just couldn't get over. So, he's been great. I kind of hooked him up with a couple of Clementes when he was, when I first started talking to him. So maybe he's returned the favor. But other than that, man, you're right. It has been kind of a quiet week, and I've been kind of laying low and just kind of enjoying things and watching from the sidelines until I get back. So, great topics today, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a great show. I really enjoyed it a lot. So I guess that's about it for us this week. We were on point, on topic, like we told you we would be. So everybody take care. I love you, Greg. And
you too, man.
We'll see you in Orlando, brother.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later on, Mark. Everybody have a good weekend.